The Trump train gathered serious momentum today as the man himself fronted the Republican National Convention, complete with bandaged ear, of course, to accept the GOP nomination for president. He had people in tears as he spoke for the first time about his near-death experience. And while Trump is flying, a new low point for Joe Biden gathered serious momentum today as the man himself fronted... Sorry, what am I saying? Oh, this is what happens when the systems go down. Just weird text sort of appears on the... Can we get a shot of a camera so you can see how the auto cue works?
Come and attack me like
that.
Oh,
yeah, you're so right. Yeah. We've just
so what's happened is I started reading it and then the thing just told me to go back to the start and read it again.
That's right.
So there you go. Anyway, here's a tape that will make sense of it. Roll it. He arrived to a hero's welcome as former wrestler Hulk Hogan revved up the crowd.
Let Trumpomania run wild, brother!
In his first public speech since last weekend's assassination attempt, Trump boasted of a brighter future.
Under our leadership, the United States will be respected again. I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream anymore.
And he harked back to that fateful day.
It was a warm, beautiful day when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that.
The guy was in the zone.
Fight, fight, fight. I could stop wars with a telephone call.
By contrast, a COVID-stricken Joe Biden had a crap one, admitting on radio that his debate performance sucked. Again.
I had a terrible night. I had exhausted. I had been traveling around the world. I wasn't ready.
And there's a growing number of once staunch Democrat allies pleading for Joe to drop out. People like Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, Hakeem Jeffries, Jamie Raskin, Nancy Pelosi, and reportedly even Barack Obama. In fact, anonymous sources, aren't they always, say the 81-year-old Joe is doing some soul-searching and could be gone by the weekend.
Biden, the damage that he's done to this country is unthinkable. It's unthinkable.
And as Trump ticked well over the 60-minute mark, he did go off on a few tangents.
My father would take me to see Billy Graham at Yankee Stadium. You know, it's nice to get along with somebody who has a lot of nuclear weapons. Has anyone seen Silence of the Lambs?
But could anyone actually derail the Trump train?
America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter, happier, stronger, freer, greater, and more united than ever before. We will make America great again. Thank you very much. Win, 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 win.
Wow, let's see if that will happen. Norman Ornstein is an emeritus scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. Norm, the world was watching. How did Trump do?
It was surreal in some ways. You know, our media here have had this frame for the last few days that after the assassination attempt, we would see a changed Trump. Subdued, contemplative, sublime, ready to unite us all. And we had 5 minutes of that from the teleprompter. And then Trump went off on his usual stump speech, rambling, ranting. And for 2 hours, this went on in a fashion that left only Democrats happy with the outcome. Honestly, at times I felt like I had been transported down to Havana to listen to a Fidel Castro speech while he was on LSD. This was a performance that I don't think anybody can justify.
One of the moments that people predicted would be a huge political expression of the speech was Trump was to speak about his assassination attempt for the very first time. How did the crowd react and what did we learn?
There was an enormous amount of sympathy. We had a lot of people, including preachers like Franklin Graham, the son of Billy Graham, saying that it was God that saved him, and Trump repeated that again. That part worked to his advantage, but I don't think that worked very well for long. And then we had one other kind of embarrassing moment, which is he made a great tribute to the man who was killed, shielding his family, and had been a fire chief, and came up with a gift that he was going to give the family. that spelled the name wrong. Now, most people aren't going to notice that, but it's a little bit of another bump in the road, a sort of glitch. Don't forget as well that the speech was filled with a lot of falsehoods and exaggerations. It's very hard now to simply point out Joe Biden's cognitive decline and ignore what we saw tonight.
If your analysis is right, that Trump didn't strike a unifying tone and he returned to type, and Trump himself has said he's not going to talk about the attempted assassination again, does that mean that whole event, there's a line under it, it's no longer part of the campaign?
I would place a substantial wager that he will talk about it again. It, makes him more human in other ways and maybe enables him to build some level of empathy for others. There are going to be a lot more twists and turns, a lot more issues that will emerge. I doubt that this is going to be the seminal moment that will define the rest of the 2024 presidential election.
Norm, we really appreciate your time.
Sure, you bet.
I think one of the things that's so interesting about this whole Republican National Convention is there was such momentum all leading up to Trump's speech. Given the events of the last week and the assassination attempt, I think really what we could have had was a moment where he gave a piece of oratory that could go down in history as one of the great pieces of political oratory. Even though people might like or dislike him, given the situation he's in and the cards he's been dealt, what he's been through in the last week, I think people were really like, wow, this could be an incredible moment. We got a little bit of that, but we also got maybe 90 minutes of him rambling on purely political partisan tactics, and it wasn't really bringing the country together. I wonder now if, he still may go on to win, but if people will look back at this as a moment that was really whiffed, that he could have actually been a great moment in American history right now at that convention, a wonderful, an all-time speech.
Yes.
And I think it might go down as maybe a missed opportunity.
But you also have to think that not everyone is watching every single second of the convention debate
right.
as well.
Snippets is what people see.
Yeah, even those snippets in our package that we put together there, if you were taking that just out of context and you just saw that on social media, and Trump always seems to win the social media battle, then that's going to, I think, have cut through.
All I'll say is there was a louder cheer for Hulk Hogan ripping off his shirt than for 90% of the stuff in Trump's speech.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, of course there was.